monsters off.
So yeah, we're heading into the round now. Hopefully we can see who won the dice roll. I think the Tearlaments deck has a stronger chance of going second, especially with the Infernoble strategy tending to put up 2 to 3 spell trap disruptions. So I think Tear generally doesn't struggle with those types of interruptions as much.
Yeah, that was definitely something I heard a lot of people saying about Tearlaments when they were, you know how some people talk about the deck as if their deck as if it's the best deck in the world, and they're like, Tearlaments can play through literally everything.
It always surprises me because you're just like, they start with 5 cards, and then they've just got a plethora of monsters on the field. They've got a graveyard full of like 20 plus cards. Some effects haven't even been used yet, like malicious and such. It just feels like you can keep going and do anything.
It's nice to see the players both looking like very happy as well at the start of a feature match. Sometimes players are a bit nervous, which is completely fair.
Yes,
but
it's completely understandable.
these players look like, they're having a great time.
So we're starting off with the Infernoble player going first. Starting off with Heritage for Yugioh. So this is on summon. It sends a warrior, I think it's just a fire warrior from the deck to the graveyard.
But wait,
we've got
oh my goodness! What a champion!
I was actually excited for this bit. So the Kelbeck is going to mill 5 additional cards.
And do you search first or mill first? I think I mill first.
I think you do because you want to have as many copies of Kashtira, or Tearlaments Kashtira.
Yeah, you want all the tier cards.
I think that would be the card you'd add, right?
Well, any card you would add is a good card because any Tearlaments card can be milled. So, like, you don't want to take a card out of your deck that could potentially be milled. That was just insane.
That's beautiful. So I think
maybe we're just resolving Yugioh first. Yeah,
so we're going to see what gets sent to the graveyard. Ricardetto. So this is the one we saw earlier in the Rescue Ace gameplay, or potentially the Rescue Ace gameplay, where it's on summon, it summons a guy from the grave and it banishes stuff from the graveyard to summon a fire warrior from the hand.
And here we go, we're milling 5. That's one. Oh my gosh.
So no real Tearlaments cards there.
But you get to roll again.
You get to go again.
And you get to take the Tearlaments trap just for funsies.
Yep. You definitely take the Suliak. If there's another Suliak card deck, you take that first, surely.
Yeah. And I guess you also, in the meantime, you get to add a. You should resolve your first copy of Suliak.
Yeah, I think I saw a Tearlaments Kashtira added.
So that's like another mill too.
Yeah. So it's not gonna stop here.
Joe just very much playing in his opponent's turn, which is very impolite as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, a Keldo. No Tearlaments names here, but
it's amazing. He's milled 10 cards.
So, the Infernoble has hit I can't remember his name. I believe it is
Magus?
Magus?
Yeah, I think it's Magus. The Pot of Avarice kind of effect.
Which is quite a nice one to hit there.
Pot of Avarice is like, in my head, like cemented as the shuffle some cards into your deck and draw a card. But there's like so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that does that. But yeah, maybe one time something else will like take over that in my head. You don't think? You think it's Pot of Avarice forever?
It's kind of like Stratos, right? Or That's Reinforcement of the Army. Like
people always describe something as a reinforcement of the army for X.
I had someone try and, instead of using Stratos, they used Magdalene once. And I got thrown a little bit too off guard.
A Magdalene?
Yeah.
Like, that's...
And I was just like, that's a bit too long, isn't it?
It's also a bit niche, isn't it? Like...
So we can see Joe continuing.
Joe's rolling again for more. He's already milled however many cards. 13 cards. 13
cards so
He's
far.
He's unhappy. He wants to go for 3 more. 1.
Rhino is a good one.
2, 3. So does he have a? You just need a Tearlaments card in your hand, right? So which he definitely does.
So.
I would be very unhappy with my opponent if they had like 20 cards. He's got more cards in play than his opponent on the opponent's first turn, which is just totally unreasonable.
When you think about it, you can almost resolve Nibiru here. You're so close.
That's true, actually. You can Nibiru your opponent.
Yeah, on your turn, on your first turn.
So what do we think? Maybe a Kaleido Heart?
I would assume Kaleido here, just to remove the monster. On the plus side, Mel has put in an extender in the graveyard in the form of the Ricardetto. So hopefully the gameplay can keep going.
I'm interested. I'm not sure what else is in there. What kind of other fusions you'd want that throw up an interruption here? Because you can't make Dragos to Pelia. I didn't see a Shadow Beast. If Shadow Beast into Shadow Window would be unbelievably nasty. But I don't think he's even running Shadow Window, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'll assume it'd be a Kaleido here.
Kaleido's so much harder to make now when you have less tier names.
Well, when you think about it, out of his tier names, he used 3 out of 4 of them to get there, right?
Yeah.
Including the Rhino, then.
Because you don't you need the 2 Aqua monsters, and it's surprisingly challenging to get Aqua monsters with tier Cash being a Psychic rather than an Aqua.
There we go. The Regattato being removed from play to summon a Fire Warrior from the hand. I think that's Battling Boxer Uppercutter, and as far as I'm aware, on summon that adds a Battling Boxer monster from deck. So we are going to see the extension here.
So Joe's done a lot, but will it? What do you think? Do you think
I'm not sure now.
Do you think that's kind of it?
Well, I think in my head, this Infernoble Knight player should, at one point or another, be making SP Little Knight to remove from play the Kaleido Heart. That's something I see in the play.
That seems very reasonable.
Because I think once that Kaleido Heart is gone, I think it's very, very hard for Joe to out a lot of troublesome cards. As well, it's just it gives a lot of recursion. Just being able to send a tier card when it's sent to the graveyard.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure how many resources there are in Joe's graveyard. I think there was a Shyama, a Malicious, but the Malicious can't really be used while you've still got one in your hand. The Denier could put back a Malicious, but not until you've got it banished. So
we're going to see the Dempsey adding a Fire Warrior. How generic is that?
Just for anyone who's tuned in, this is Mel's first turn, just in case. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? We're just looking at this, it looks like Joe's had a turn already, but
it is actually the first turn of the match. 7 minutes in. I do quite like that they can play that much on the opponent's turn. I think that's quite a unique thing to see in Yugioh these days. I guess Rescue Race does have it with the Impulse, but
a lot of decks can do something on your opponent's turn, but normally it requires you to set up. Whereas Tearlament just doing it on your first turn feels like especially rude, doesn't it?
I think it's I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. Not only did they hit the 2 Mill 5 cards, I guess, but then just having the extra, they sent 16 cards to the graveyard. I don't know what you want me to say. That's just phenomenal on the first turn. I think the Kelder's going to be activated here to stop the Turpin from summoning.
But Mel did get a Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, which is
Yep. Do you think they put back one of the Mill 5 cards?
Oh, I love putting back the Mill 5 cards. You just want to keep milling 5.
Yep.
There were a ton of options there.
I think the Suliek was sent because the Scream's in hand already. So just giving another option to the card.
Yeah, because he's got the Shyama engraved, so he might already be thinking ahead to destroying the Scream. So
I think Mel has so much room to just play here. Just get on with whatever combo they want to achieve.
So I think the Fireflint Lady was added by Durandal?
Yep. So this is really cool. The Battling Boxer Spara, I believe it is. It's not once per turn to special summon itself from the hand. So you can add it off of the Uppercutter, and then you can add it back with Renaud or another means, and just continue playing your game.
So this is just giving you a couple of bonus.
Yep. And then we get to Angelica. I love seeing all the core sentry rares as well. I appreciate that.
I tell you, Angelica, it's not Angelica, the field spell, Museum.
Museum, yes.
When I realized it wasn't once per turn, I was just shocked. I was like, what is this when was the last time we had a field spell that wasn't once per turn? The Spiral one?
Especially, it's not once per turn on either of its effects as well, right?
Yeah, normally almost any field spell, will say, if it adds a card from your deck to your hand, that's got to be a once per turn, but not this one, So
going to bring out the Roland here.
It's still not even as old. been used?
No. Do you think, surely we see one in this combo.
There's so much gas in the tank
Yeah.
left for Mel. I mean, the only reason that we might not see an Isolde is that enough equip spells have been milled. Because we saw, I mean,
We did see, we saw
because
10 cards leave the deck.
yeah, because the Durandel's gone, as is the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade.
Yeah.
So only 2 left. So if there's any in the hand for Mel, then maybe, or any more that were milled, then it might be that there's just not enough equip spells left to resolve
That's
Isolde.
something. They're not playing the Angelica's Ring? I can't remember its full name.
Yeah, I think it's just Angelica's Ring, yeah.
But that card, that's a phenomenal card.
It is a very cool card.
And
Spell Negates are great.
It's a spell negate, and it's really good because it defeats cards like Dark Riddle No More, Super Polymerization, even Droplets. And I think that's just like a necessary means in decks like this, where it's just such a combo deck.
And here we see the Emperor Charles?
Yeah, Emperor Charles, re-equipping the Synchro Charles from the graveyard.
Well, what's Synchro Charles' title?
It is Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles.
He's Emperor as well.
But the
next
link
one
is
is
just Emperor Charles the Great.
Emperor Charles the Great. Okay, he's upgraded his. He's got like a a description.
The Little Knight resolving there, as anticipated.
Mel can't attack directly this turn now.
Oh wait, it's not the first turn of the game.
So what other powerful interruptions are we going to see from Mel
this might
after
be
this?
Oh, that's a Baron de Fleur. Okay. So I think that's a Stolfo.
So has the Charles now lost its effect?
No, so when it on summon it attaches as an equipped spell, and then it just becomes that name.
It just games it forever?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I was worried it would have lost its effect if it lost the equip.
I'm a big fan of how it's been played out, in all honesty. Didn't even need to use the Isolde, which is quite a feat in itself to get there. Maybe there was just so many of the names.
Yeah, because that's another equip spell Mel just played there,
was.
so maybe there were just none left for them.
So in the end phase,
We
the
get
Angelical returns, and then the Emperor Charles is going to attach 2 names, I believe.
One from grave, one from deck?
Yeah. So that's the Morgus again, just to get a draw card, right?
And that triggers when it's sent to the graveyard, right?
So the Emperor Charles link is the spell trap negate, let's say, and it by sending a equip spell. So you'll send the Morgus, then you get another draw. Just a good way of generating further advantage, especially with 12 hand traps in the deck, 9 of which can be used.
I felt like Mel might have had an empty hand there at the end of the turn. Maybe I was wrong. We are popping the Tearlaments Cash Tier, so we get 2 more mills, and that is a Sharon, which you can activate if you have the resources to do so.
I believe Sharon was the one that was used to make the Kaleido Heart.
Oh, was it? Not the
Yeah.
Merly. You're right, right. I agree.
And Drew's Havness there. That's actually a pretty good.
So Joe's still got 5 cards.
After all of that.
All of that messing around.
How many cards were lost in deck total that turn? 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 3 were put back in.
Yeah, I mean, the powerful thing about this is you can like curate your deck quite a lot.
Yes.
Because the Tearlament cards you get to put back. So, I mean,
It just improve the quality of the cards you've got potential.
Because the Tearlament cards, there's only 1 each of them, but in a 40 card deck that's quite a big deal. But in a 20 card deck, you're going to be milling them a lot.
So I think that's Danger Nessie being activated now.
Oh, and he's discarded Havness.
With the Havness there, what do you think can summon? It's only really Garura, possibly Mud Dragon there.
I was going to say, I really like Mud Dragon, and there's also the Destiny hero, what's his name?
dangerous.
Dangerous as well, because that's pretty useful because you want to put back that malicious in your hand.
That's true.
So it's now in the deck to be summoned.
I had something great to say, don't know if I've lost it now.
It'll come back.
It'll come back when I need it.
I like the idea of Mud Dragon especially because it turns off targeting effects.
So it deals with the Little Knight there.
Yeah.
I don't believe it deals with the Grace and Patrol's destruction effect.
Oh, that's non-targeting.
That's non-targeting, yeah.
But or the Baron negate as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
That's cool. There is a lot of disruption there when it doesn't look like there should be.
There's a lot going on, isn't there? Because Joe's got a lot of stuff going on. Mel's got a lot of interruptions, so it's going to be up to both of them to like sequence everything carefully.
Navigate the field and see what's next. So the Havness is activating.
I mean, there's also just like Garura as well. You could make. Because just getting a fusion into your grave to later make Draco's Stapelia is not bad either.
Yeah.
Tons of options, really. So the nice thing, the only reason I was thinking of Garura is because you want to shuffle back that Sharon into the deck.
Exactly, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
And the potential of getting yourself another draw is not anything to be laughed at. So the hand is still...
No, he's changed his mind.
Was the Deny milled as well?
Yeah, Deny has been milled. So, yeah, shuffling back.
Maybe, maybe.
Surely you'd get back the malicious in your hand, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Right, so Joe now going to summon the Destiny Hero Dangerous. Probably no more Destiny Heroes that he wants to pitch, so just going to go ahead and banish a Malicious probably next.
Yeah, the stream you just want to try and force through some form of Beatrice line. I think it's going to be hard to try and achieve through the Little Knight and the Baron and everything else that's going on.
Yeah, but you've got to do something.
Yeah, you have to try and force it through.
Make your opponent sweat a bit.
So...
He's also got that Trivikarma, which can add a Perla Rhino as well.
So I believe the Charles can negate the Trivikarma in the graveyard. Just it negates a spell trap card or effect.
That's very cool. But you can also just negate the Perla Rhino.
You could also just negate the Perla Rhino, yeah.
Always a bit safer option, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any spell and trap destruction that Mel's afraid of? Because the Shyama kind of threatens some spell and trap destruction as well.
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem that high value, does it, to destroy any of the spells and traps?
It feels quite low impact.
Has Joe's deck ended up upside down?
It might just be the graveyard at this point.
Ah, the Trivikarma's the graveyard, right? Yeah. I feel like he's got to make sure to use the... Do you need a Destiny Hero to use the Denier?
I believe so.
So if he wants to use the Denier, it's got to be before he does any XYZ summoning here. Or maybe you just need a Destiny Hero in your grave or something.
It is in the graveyard as well.
Okay, that's fine then.
It's not such an issue.
I really want one of these days someone playing the Tearlaments deck to have a Burning Abyss monster to special summon if the Beatrice is destroyed in a situation like this.
I would love to see that actually.
Because I'm guessing it's going to get negated and destroyed by Baron.
I would assume as much. So I'd assume, the Polar Rhino is likely target here. Mel's still yet to use interrupts, as far as I can see.
Yeah. Oh, the Droll Lockbird.
That's even more powerful, really, isn't it?
That's a great interruption.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, because the Danger monster resolved a while ago. Why wasn't the Droll used then, do we think?
That's true. Potentially maybe they just wanted to resolve their Morgus to try and get another draw and recycle some of the resources.
But they've given up on that idea.
Yeah, I think trying to or trading the Polar Rhino for that seems like it's good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have just used Droll.
That's true.
I mean, I guess it would have been the same situation because the Tribicama got discarded. No, because it would have shut off your opponent from using Nessie as well, right?
Yeah.
Or it would have cut off a draw from Nessie.
One draw, yeah.
Seems a little weird, like not to use draw in the first opportunity.
I agree with that. So the Scream has been set, likely for the Shyama to take a pick.
But this draw is super impactful here, right? Because there's now no search, no Pearl Rhino search.
Basically traded for...
It's traded for a ton of
Rhino
cards.
Heart, potentially.
Well, yeah, and a Sulliek, and potentially some other things too.
Very high impact. I think draw is... I would consider draw a card I want in this matchup.
Oh yeah.
I think...
Against decks like Tearlaments, I think it's really powerful because there are certain types of decks where they just seem to have infinite gas to keep going, keep pushing. So if you have like one card interruptions, Ash, Impum, whatever, like most hand traps nowadays are one card interruptions, then sometimes it can just, be thrown into, thrown into a sea of like, extenders from your opponent. Whereas if you play Drawn Lockbird, like obviously you're giving up the one card to do it and it's not negating anything in particular, but now it just kind of puts a cap on what they can achieve for the whole turn, which I think is a much more powerful way of affecting the Tearlament deck.
Especially because of just how uncertain it is, right? Just like how uncertain the Tearlament turn can be. It can be maybe you just make a fusion monster, or maybe you do everything like Joe did on Mel's first turn. Like anything can happen really. So
it looks like we are going to resolve with Beatrice, which, I mean, I guess you can just negate anything that gets sent with Baron anyway. Not that it's like, you could just let whatever happens through as well. Like, I don't know
so
what.
I think I think it's kind of odd. So I think the Charles, or the roller liquid to the Charles, and then the Beatrice. Okay, so I think the Beatrice might get destroyed in Resolution.
No, oh no, you're right actually. Okay. Oh, maybe it destroyed no, Shyama already was used as a link material for Dark. Okay. Yeah, there's so much going on.
There's so much going on. I thought I had a minor heart attack, but I thought I saw an Amano Water, but I think it was just an ultimate rare Tearlaments Rhino Heart.
I don't think there's going to be an Amano
No,
Water.
there is definitely not. So then...
As fun as it would be to play a Mano and then a Raigeki. That's the dream.
So everyone's lucid dream. Do you think you negate the Baron here?
It looks like, I mean, because if you don't negate, then your opponent's just going to summon a Dragos Tapelia, and then that would trade with the Baron anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the fusion was in there.
I guess it's quite cunning from Mel there. Just let your opponent put the Merly in the graveyard, because when your opponent's only got one copy of each, you'd probably rather it be in the graveyard than the deck.
So we're going to see a little bit of extension here with the Destiny Hero cards.
What can we achieve with
that's
just
my
two
issue.
monsters?
With the Merly already been used as well, I think the most is maybe a play into a Little Knight.
That's true. Little Knight is possible, but it doesn't feel like it's going to do much. Yeah, Mel's got a small army over there.
To potentially just put everything into attack mode, right?
Doesn't even get the banish.
No. So I think that's likely it.
Now we're getting an end phase effect.
To equip the Joyous, and then the Little Knight will return alongside the Dark, I believe. So we're going to see just how Mel decides to clean up the game, really. From my perspective, it looks very, very one-sided here.
Yeah.
Now.
One question I have for you, because I'm not 100% sure on this, is a Little Knight versus Little Knight. So my assumption is that if one person uses a Little Knight and then their opponent uses a Little Knight to banish both Little Knights, then the first Little Knight won't banish the other monster.
As far as I'm aware, as long as the Little Knight has to banish both targets.
Yeah.
So if one of the targets leaves the field, then the Little Knight will not remove that monster from play. So say Joe activates a Little Knight targeting Mel's Angelica and Joe's Little Knight, then Mel can use their little knight to banish the Angelica and the dark, and then it's a good situation, really.
So the little knights kind of cancel each other out in the situation. That was what I thought, but you know, I just thought I'd bring that up. It gets a bit complicated because one of the complicated things about Yu-Gi-Oh as well sometimes is monsters being returned to the field rather than special summoned. Because, for example, something like the Mekanko ceremony, which special summons a Mekanko, and then you banish it with the little knight, and then it's not the same monster, so it's not destroyed, etc. It can be a bit confusing.
So yeah, we're going to see, I'm going to assume the battle phase is happening here.
Very appreciative of Mel here, not messing around. 8,000, all right, let's go.
You just might as well clean up, right? It's not too much difficult activities to be had.
What a game one, like. That was epic. And
I actually really enjoyed that.
It was a good 26-minute game one as well. I don't know if you've had game ones, like sometimes a whole round is game one.
I think for one of my first regional wins, I had a 50-plus minute game one playing Paleozoic versus a 60-card Infernoid grass deck. And this was with the old time rule as well, and I don't quite know how, but I somehow opened with 5 trap cards, and I managed to defeat a deck that had resolved that grass looks greener. But we got there in the end, and yeah, it hurts your brain. I don't know about you, but when you play that much Yu-Gi-Oh, just one single game, it doesn't feel like you get like a reset. You're just focused on it. It
can be very tiring. Like that's something that I think maybe you don't think about into a tournament if you're not used to playing like big tournaments. Is that, you know, for smaller events or you're playing like locals with your friends, you can play like these, you know, thinking combo, very intensive heavy decks. But if you go to a big event, like you have to play that 9 times over maybe. So that can get like, you know, if you're playing this kind of match 9 times over, you can get tired and you can make mistakes. It's very possible. Like,
especially when you're playing to this sort of level as well. I think Mel navigated that game very well, and if having to do that for 9 rounds, you have to be trained on it.
Yeah,
you have to be able to handle
difficult.
That.
I also think one factor is like how quickly your deck wins.
I agree with that.
Because again, like as you were talking about, like a reset. Like if your round ends in 20 minutes, then you can go and have a break. You can get something to drink, you know, maybe stand outside for a little minute and cool down. But if your game takes 45 minutes, you're just straight into the next round with no break. Which, again, all these things like can influence how your tournament goes.
I agree with that. I think it's something that's always like long forgotten is just making sure you take care of yourself throughout a tournament. No matter how long or short it is, just ensuring you're just in the best place to play well and get through the tournament. So we're going into game 2 now. I'm going to assume that Joe is starting here. I'm going to assume.
Well, I mean, he kind of started that game as well, didn't he?
So after that game, who knows exactly what's happening. Luckily for Joe, I don't think Mel has any cards that can be activated. Or any engine cards. Let's say engine cards.
Engine cards, yeah. Does Magnum count as an engine card?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Not for Mel. It's an engine card for other people.
Luckily for Mel, there's a lot of good cards in the deck that I would say, or in the side deck even, that should be coming in here.
Have you ever found that, like, that you just have too many cards for a matchup? You're like, I can't side out anything, like, because as you know, you mentioned there's the Bestials, you think prime targets to come in, DD Crows, prime targets to come in, even Nibiru, like, is pretty solid. So I'm wondering, you know, you probably can't, like, siding out 10 cards in between games is pretty difficult.
Yep. No, I agree with you, especially when you don't want to lower not only the count of your engine, but like the quality, right? You want to ensure you've got a good quality engine cards in your hands. That's a big ash.
That is a big ash, because I'm looking at the hand here for Joe, and I don't see what happens now.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's much to be. Oh, actually, there is.
Oh, we can tribute summon and pop.
You can tribute summon and destroy.
But then where do you go?
Then I think you can destroy the Suliak and then add the Havness, and then we could.
I mean,
we can roll the dice.
We can roll the dice. Yeah, I mean, we can also, like, you want Tearlament cards, because unless you have any Tearlament cards, then none of your spells and traps do anything. But if you pass now, you've got nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Mel's got to be very happy with
Very
this.
happy with
Just like a
result
single Ash passing the turn for Joe.
Especially as I think they have another copy of Ash in their hand as well. So even if they did have the Havness or anything, that shuts that down.
I love, I like Ash on the Perla Rhino. I think it's kind of correct, because if your opponent adds Sharon, it's probably something you want to Ash anyway.
Yeah.
So
You'd rather just don't have the name, right?
Yeah, you take the chance that they have Sharon in their hand, and I think it makes sense just to play it.
I think it's very similar into if they have the Rhino Heart as well, right? Because Rhino Heart, you don't particularly want to Ash, but if they have like Rhino Heart and Scream, I think that's where it gets a little bit dicey, and the game could start to pull away from you, right?
Yeah, I think Ash against a Tearlament deck in particular, like, it makes sense just to throw it early, because when your opponent gets rolling, it feels like there's no like one critical point, so you just start it
they just
early.
hit critical mass, right?
Yeah,
and it's away.
It's away. I really like this battling boxer engine.
I do as well.
It gives you a rank 4 and 2 monsters to make an Isolde, which is really powerful.
I'm definitely considering picking these cards up now. I've been wanting to try the Infernoble strategy, and Mel has given me a good enough reason to try it properly now. So I do also like that they're starting with the lines into Angelica, just because the fill spell is so absurd.
And it's so convenient, I think, like the setup here where you get a Battling Boxer and a Reno to make it, because you can make a Zold with any 2 warriors, whereas Angelica's slightly more difficult to make. Yeah. Which does seem a little unfair considering the relative power of the cards, but you know, feels like a Zold should be more difficult to make, but that's the way it goes.
So, dumping the Terp in there, going to add back the Phoenix Sword, likely equip it, and then use the Turpin effect to summon itself back. I think this is going to be a very similar play to game 1. I think maybe respecting Nibiru as a card as well. Making the Charles Reynolds or Roland to equip.
I think popping one of the face downs is kind of asking for trouble a bit.
I think I would just remove the Nessie. It just makes it easier for you to attack for game. That's how I would see it in this situation. And I don't think I would want to ever target one of those cards. In my head, it's not an infinite impermanence, right?
Yeah.
It's 100%. Not that type of card. So it's likely just a Tearlaments card that if I destroy that, it's not going to go well for me.
Yeah. I don't think any self-respecting Tearlaments player has infinite impermanence in their deck going first.
That is also true.
You're just not a Tearlament player at heart if you've got, you know, like the soul of the Tearlaments player is my entire deck is engine. I will mill. You can't mill it. If it's not a good mill, it's not a good card.
I agree with that, like Testament as well. I think it's, you just want to see good cards in your hand, and then you just want to start sending those cards to the graveyard and make sure that every time you do, it's a good hit. Going up into Charles here, I think this is going to be an avenue to OTK.
Because we can use the Joyous, right?
Yeah, well I think also just being able to museum someone back like Charles as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, it gets very...
I mean, I don't know how much attack the Dempsey has, actually. Do you know?
In my head, it's at least 2,000.
All right, then.
In my head, it should be. And if not, the Divine Phoenix Sword is going to help.
Oh, there we go.
The 300 buff.
And how big is the Emperor? Is it 3,000?
I think they're both 3,000,
okay.
Yeah.
So 3,000, 3,000, 2,000 is 8,000. Yeah. And I think we're already past Nibiru, so I guess you might as well...
Yeah, you might as well just sum it
keep going. We're in for a penny, in for a pound, right? Now we're going to go.
We're going to go. Maybe, are we seeing Isolde?
Our first Isolde. Nope.
Okay.
Doesn't that stop you from attacking directly?
Yeah. That might be a slight oversight from Mel there, unfortunately, but...
I mean, I don't think it will make a huge impact on the outcome of the game, but giving your opponent an extra turn seems like a strange thing to do.
Yep.
And still no Isolde. I'm waiting for it.
Do you think you try to Baron the Flow on the set spell trap, or do you just hit the Polar Rhino here?
I think I'd be hitting the field spell. I don't see, it feels like just unnecessary. I mean, I guess you could guess like it's likely Crime or Sulliek. I don't know if you would set 2 Sullieks. So.
I think the thing here is like having the Charles to negate.
Oh, that's
well.
that's tidy actually, yeah, because Charles has got a spell and trap negate, which I guess you weren't going to use otherwise this turn.
So I think Mel has just decided to navigate around, going for the kill.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been very.
Then we might be missing something as well.
Very clean.
Potential.
Well, I mean, the Little Knight prevents you from attacking directly.
Oh, sorry, somewhere before the Little Knight. Sorry, maybe like one of the Battling Boxer cards or something.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah.
But I think either way, it's a very formidable field here.
Yeah, I mean, given Joe passed his last turn, like you don't need that many negates to deal with a pass. Probably mean he'll only have one live card at most, right?
Yeah. So we can see the Foolish Barrel Goods drawn for 10. I guess with the Trivia Karma gone, I think the only really good target would be Sulliek here.
Do you think this is just a bluff?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good bluff, I like it. Do you want to negate my Sulliek? So
I think you can search. It's a bit weird, because there's always like the fear that maybe like a hard-drawn Rhino Heart or something comes after that, right?
That's true, that's true.
I think there's a little bit of an argument to be had. But there we see the Foolish Barrel Goods. And then I think it's just going to be end of the show for here.
I've no idea how much attack Angelica has, but I'm guessing it's enough.
I want to say 2,400.
Okay, well it needs to be 400 at least. So. We got there.
We got there. Well, okay. I'm happy with that. I really like the gameplay from the Infernoble Knights there. Especially navigating that very tricky turn 1 in game 1. Where both players played.
Yeah, I think it was like just keeping a cool head, because at the end of the day, after everything Joe did, it was just like one removal. Which is surprising considering he milled like 13 cards. So you could say he was unlucky, but he was quite lucky to hit the Kelbeck in the first place. So, you know, that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles with the Tearlaments deck. You know,